driven.
As we approach the release of Requiem, I thought it would be fun to continue taking a closer look at all the viruses throughout the franchise. I've covered the T and G viruses, but today we're going to be looking at the royal jelly equivalent of Umbrella's samples. First debuting in Code Veronica and continuing onward, we have the very unique virus today. From Blood on Fire to Wesker's Desire, here are 25 facts about the T-Veronica virus. The T-Veronica virus was a strain of the progenitor virus that was created by Dr. Alexia Ashford, with the specific goal of gaining the benefits of the T-virus without impairing cognitive function. The virus is named after Veronica Ashford, who was the matriarch of the Ashford family and the one that Alexia and Alfred are cloned from. Yeah, there's a lot there, so if you want to know more, check out my 25 facts about the Ashford twins video. The initial research of the virus was inspired by ants, which are a common motif throughout Code Veronica. Alexia was megalomaniacal and loved how all the worker ants obeyed the queen and catered to her, so she attempted to use the genome of a queen ant as the basis. Though not clearly explained, another addition to the virus were the plant genes. This would help explain some of the forms that monsters take, as well as the green color their skin becomes. It would also partially explain the mysterious giant tentacle vine thing in Code Veronica. Speaking of which, it's not fully explained what the various giant tentacles are exactly, but from what I found, it seems that there's a gigantic plant under the Antarctic base that has been infected with the Veronica virus and is seemingly able to be controlled by Alexia. Most of this was retconned in Darkside Chronicles, which is not the canon version of Code Veronica's events, so take that with a grain of salt. There are actually multiple strains of the Veronica virus. The first one goes as far back as 1982, when the Ashford twins performed an experiment on their own father, Alexander Ashford, who mutated into the Nosferatu boss and was considered a failed experiment. Shortly after that, assuming she had new information for her research, Alexia then created a unique strain for herself, unofficially called the T-Alexia virus, and then performed the experiment on herself, which came with the trade-off of having to be in cryogenic coma for 15 years in order to properly adapt to the virus.
She injected me with something. I think it's the Veronica virus. She wants to test me, see if I'll obey her orders.
Then there's the strain that she used on Steve Burnside, which did cause him to rapidly mutate, but he was able to regain his mental capacity just in time to prevent himself from killing Claire Redfield. An improvement over Nosferatu, but still dubbed a failure. Not a virus per se, but there is also the Veronica plant, which we see in Darkside Chronicles. It's a large plant from the Amazon that became infected with the Veronica virus and mutated, kept by Javier Hidalgo as a last resort. We see him let the plant consume him, and he becomes a unique gigantic plant monster known as the V-complex. And lastly, there's the T02 strain, which we saw in Resident Evil 6. The T-Veronica virus was used by Carla Radams, who created a stronger variant of the virus with the main goal of reducing the extremely long incubation period that the Veronica virus needed. When combined with samples of the G virus, she was able to create the C virus. But you'll have to wait for my C-Virus video for more on that. Throughout the Resident Evil franchise, we have seen almost every virus, but for some reason, as far as I could find, there's no official depiction of any of the Veronica viruses. From what I found online, the fanbase seems to have determined that the virus is yellow, but I wasn't able to find anything to back that up, so I guess we'll have to see if it's shown in the inevitable Code Veronica remake. Another person infected with the T-Veronica virus was Manuela Hidalgo, who we meet in the Operation Javier chapter of Darkside Chronicles. In order to save his daughter from a degenerative disease, drug lord Javier Hidalgo used his vast wealth to get an experimental treatment using the T-Veronica virus, which seems to be a similar strain to Alexia's, even having the mutation of flammable blood. The trade-off to Alexia's long cryosleep was Manuela having her organs constantly removed and replaced with donor organs, which unfortunately came from the numerous girls from a nearby village that went missing, kidnapped in order to harvest their organs. When Alexia encounters Wesker, she seemingly is able to transform at will, burning off her clothes and mutating into her first form, where she sprouts armored plant-like appendages and grayish-green skin. She is then able to demonstrate that this new form gives her even more strength and agility than Wesker, which up until that point he had never experienced. When she fights Chris, she seems to play with him, choosing to slowly walk towards him while splattering her flammable blood at him. If you let her get close to Chris, she demonstrates another ability she has, being able to pick up Chris by the neck and instantly incinerate him. Though Wesker ran from her, Chris was able to discover that Alexia was weak to bullets and took her down, injuring her. After this, she went into regeneration to prepare for her next form, where she is birthed from a giant tentacle pod thing, implying that it was some way for her to safely regenerate. After being shot by Chris yet again, she begins rapidly mutating into a grotesque mass. I had assumed that she was designed to resemble a queen ant, especially with the fact that she summons her ants to help her, but as an ant nerd, I can tell you that queen ants don't look like this at all. She actually resembles a queen termite, which you can see the similarities in this lovely photo. And since I never get to talk about ants on this channel, I also want to throw in the trivia that winged ants are a real thing known as alates. Male alates breed with females and then die shortly after, whereas female alates are usually ants that will later become queens themselves. Knowing Alexia, all the ants she summons are probably males. Speaking of wings, her final form enables her to sprout wings of her own and detach from the mass, now resembling a dragonfly. While it's clear that Alexia can choose to transform, it's never really explained if she can morph back into a human, because I've always wondered what would happen if she was able to kill Chris, Claire, and Wesker. Her father didn't seem to be able to take human form again, but Steve demonstrated he was able to turn back into a human, so it's hard to say for sure. One unique aspect of the T-Veronica virus is that it's partially made from plant DNA. This is most likely how it's able to infect some plants. While there is an alleged plant under the Antarctic base, due to the climate it's unable to spread, but in Operation Javier, we learn about the Veronica plant, which, thanks to the humid rainforest around it, has a high chance to infect up to 60% of the Amazon rainforest in less than 48 hours, making it extremely dangerous. The virus sample that was given to Javier was from Steve's body, acquired by Wesker. Due to the virus's exclusivity, it may be the only remaining sample. This is a little bit of a plot hole because Wesker made it clear that he wanted the Veronica virus in order to gain its power, but there could be many reasons explaining why he didn't opt to take that route. Aside from an extremely large sum of money, Hidalgo also gave Wesker a stake in his crime operation. One unique trait of the Veronica virus is that every mutation is different. The in-game explanation for this is that the mutations are influenced by the mindset of its host. Alexander, Alexia, and Steve all have entirely different appearances after mutating. It is also influenced by the surrounding temperature and climate, becoming more dangerous in hotter temperatures, which is why Hidalgo is able to mutate into such a huge monster. It's also worth noting that Hilda Hidalgo, Manuela's mother, was not infected with the Veronica virus. She was actually injected with multiple strains of the T virus in order to cure the same degenerative disease that Manuela had, but obviously the results weren't great. There's a chance that this strain of the virus is related to the one used in the abandoned hospital of the flashback scenario in Outbreak, with it being a strain specifically developed to cure cancer and disease, but infamously backfiring. The Veronica virus almost has a legacy of being a luxury virus, with it being possessed and used by only individuals who are extremely wealthy and powerful. Well, except for Steve. It only has 5 confirmed human infectees, making it one of the most contained viruses in the franchise. In Steve's final moments, he was able to regain control of his emotions and spare Claire's life, being killed by the Alexia pod after he severed it.
Claire!
While Wesker implies in Darkside Chronicles that he might be able to revive Steve, he really only said that to anger the Redfields. While Steve is dead, confirmed and canon, he did have the privilege of dying as a human and not a monster. While some of the T-Veronica virus was used to create the C virus, it seems that the last of the pure Veronica virus has been eradicated, with the last monsters infected with it all having been killed. Unless Capcom decides to bring it back from the dead, it looks like the Veronica virus is gone for good. I don't know about you guys, but I'm really excited about Requiem, which comes out in about a month from writing this video. I'm sure that game will have a whole new virus to talk about, but for now we can go over the various ones we've seen so far in order to make sure we are all prepared for it. If you learned something new, be sure to splatter some flammable blood on that like button and check out my channel for more Resident Evil content just like this. Until next time, I'm Kai Morgan, and as always, thanks for watching Ink Ribbon.